what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rides. We are still here in Bozeman, Montana, and today is the day that we do the first drive of this vehicle right here. This is it. This is the all-new 2023 Jeep Grand Wagoneer L powered with the all-new Hurricane engine. But before we get into this maximum size SUV with 510 horsepower, let's talk about what's going on here. Jeep. They've been doing the business when it comes to performance for a long time, believe it or not. Doesn't necessarily have to be off-road performance, but also on-road. Now, the most iconic of all Jeep performance vehicles when it comes to high horsepower is going to be that long-standing, and the one that you're never going to forget, the Jeep Trackhawk. Now, this is not a Trackhawk replacement by any means, but Jeep has taken a lot of that performance know-how to not only give us a more powerful Grand Wagoneer with this new long version, but also a more fuel efficient. So what I want to find out is, should you be getting a Grand Wagoneer new for 2023 with the Hurricane twin turbo setup, or should you still go with the tried and true 6.4 liter Hemi V8 version? Let's go ahead. We got this Obsidian Series 2 Grand Wagoneer L that we're going to try to figure that out. Right off the bat, the size. You got 7 inches extra wheelbase, 12 inches extra length. Now at the front of the vehicle, you're going to, of course, get full LED lighting. And the big thing I want to point out is all the functionality with the venting. Because we have the high output Hurricane engine, we need more cooling, and this uses a liquid-cooled intercooler. Not an air-to-air, it's liquid-cooled, so we want to try to flow as much air to that intercooler setup to cool everything down, all the heat exchangers, because of that extra power. Of course, it goes without saying all the fine touches and details that they did to the grille, to the whole front fascia, and you got your tow hooks. On the hood, it is your same great broad hood, but instead of V8 power, we got twin turbo straight 6, not V6. Remember, Navigator does V6, Expedition does V6 twin turbo. This is an inline 6. We'll get more to that. Now, when we come around the bend on this particular Grand Wagoneer, you got this very sporty 22-inch wheels. And then remember, we got that Quadra drive system, all-wheel drive 4x4. We got the ability to raise the suspension with our Quadra lift, and it's all bolted to a beefed up TorqueFlite 8-speed automatic, and then of course just looking really clean with the body lines. Coming down the side, obviously we got a little bit of motion happening here in Montana. Coming down the side, you got that extra length. Like I said, how many inches? Yes, you in the back with that Twinkie in your mouth. Yes, 12 inches extra length, 7 inches wheelbase. Working our way towards the rear, you're gonna have more room. That's what I love about this 2023 model, being an L, more room, more power. Think about it. Coming around the back, just like up front, all the nice ornamental touches with full LED lighting, that Grand Wagoneer name. Another thing you gotta remember is that Jeep went all in. Besides just extending this vehicle, physical form-wise, they also stretched the fuel tank to give you more gallons of fuel to improve the range. But of course, we still got towing capability. We're gonna get to that, but let's get to the biggest piece of this Grand Wagoneer L puzzle. Let's go check out the Hurricane and see if it's gonna rock us. All right, guys, we got the hood open. I'm getting out of the way. Lori's gonna show the goods. Very, very tasteful engine cover, but something you'll notice is a lot of room in there based off of the Hemi V8. But I love the engine cover, especially with the twin turbo name. Now on our Grand Wagoneer, what comes standard is the HO, high output, 510 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque. That's from a 3-liter twin turbo straight 6. Now, if you go Wagoneer, the standard engine is 420 horsepower, 468 pound-feet of torque. Both are bolted to a TorqueFlite 8-speed automatic transmission. Guess what? Towing capability with the high output, 10,000 pounds. MPGs, 14 in the city, 19 on the highway, 16 combined. And if you want some more information, I got it. When you go high output, you're actually getting a steel crankshaft with forged pistons. Forged pistons to handle that extra power. When it comes to comparing this to the V8, you're getting 2 more miles per gallon on the highway compared to the 6.4 liter Hemi. If you're going Wagoneer with the standard output, you actually get 3 more miles per gallon on the highway than the 5.7 liter. What does that mean? You're looking at about 100 miles more range out of this setup compared to the Hemi V8 setup. Now what's great is that you have a reduction, 15% reduction in CO2, the class leading towing, the maximum power, it's 166 horsepower per liter, and it has 26 PSI. That's what it runs at, 26 pounds of boost, dual fuel pumps on the super high output one. That is going to handle all of your fuel to get to that combustion chamber to produce the power. And then obviously, when we're looking at other things, having that extra fuel tank, it's 31 gallons. So you have further longer range, and you got more horsepower, and you got more torque than the 6.4 liter Hemi V8. But the big question is, what does it sound like? So let's fire up this Hurricane and see if it makes any sound. Guys, we're inside this Grand Wagoneer L, the Obsidian trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I have priced Escalade ESVs. I have priced the Navigator. I've priced even the Expedition Max. I'm digging this freaking Grand Wagoneer, especially with that 510 horsepower twin turbo straight six. How much is it? So MSRP, the way that you see this one option with the Obsidian package, Series 2, you're looking at a price tag of $109,000. Let's see what you get for the money and how you're gonna feel driving down the road. To the door panels, all black material. Love that touch. A little bit of silver, and then there is some gloss black, and the bad news is the zonk, it's right around the switchgear. So when you're driving and riding in this, you're gonna have to be careful not to get your fingerprints plastered all over it. The good news is we got the Macintosh sound system, multi-speaker, clear premium audio, and then you get a nice large door pocket for your Bison sandwich sub, 12-inch, and a nice large container of Rocky Mountain oysters. Now going from the door panel to the dash, look, it's all gloss black, but watch, bam, you actually have that 10.25-inch screen nicely blended in. How did I do that? It's all by pressing this button icon on the infotainment system side of things. But if we kind of glance back, you do have more of that black trim with the Grand Wagoneer name, and that's going to allow the passengers to enjoy their own little command center while you're doing the drive. Now, when it comes to actually driving this vehicle, the most important part is going to be off-road. We have our off-road pages, all of that set up. If you want to see this more in depth, the link of the video for that is at the end of this one. One other thing, of course, I like to showcase, it's one of Lori's favorite things, is when you're scrolling here, you go into relax. Check it out, little graphics, there's the fire. You could change. One of the coolest looking ones is this topographic one. Look at that, that looks really trippy right there, but there's sound that goes with it to help you relax after a day of off-roading or going on a family trip. You do have ventilated seats and heated seats. What I like about them is that you actually can change the zone, whether you want it just on the back, or if you want it on the bottom, or if you want it on the bottom and the back. So that's kind of cool. To get out of this, it's real easy. You just exit right out, and we're right back where we started. Hit home. Down below, another 10.25-inch screen that's going to help with the AC controls and all the other goodies. Massage settings opens up, and that's going to be your wireless charging and all the connectivity. We got the Torque Flight 8-speed automatic that's been revised to handle more power. Of course, 2 cup holders and the Grand Wagoneer key fob. I like the way it's got the name there. And then storage. Nice leather, plenty of storage. Obviously, USB cords. I put like Twizzlers. I like to roll them up and drop them in there. Open it up. You got a nice cooler. So you could get a 6-pack of Surge soda and have that ready on ice as you're driving down the road. And then the leather, the seating, the piping, massage settings, 23-way adjustable, nice leather, and then all this room and a panoramic sunroof. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind the wheel of this Grand Wagoneer. Right, guys, business time. We're going to make this a little quick. Seats are super comfy for those long drives. Of course, you got your leather wrapped steering wheel. It is flat bottom, which is really nice. There's more of that trim. And then guess what? You got that large digital gauge cluster. So many different ways to configure it. It's unbelievable, the technology with how they do that. And that's going to help with the overall driving experience. And you got a head-up display so you can keep your eyes straight and forward on the road, because you always want to look where you want to go. Speaking of going, let's go in the mid-row and the third row to see how your passengers are going to like this new Grand Wagoneer L. All right, guys, mid-row time. And when it comes to driving, you got plenty of space riding back here. Of course, we have the optional 10.25-inch screens. What I do like is when you hit the car icon, you get that "Are we there?" That allows your kids to not annoy you, and they can control all their AC settings. And when it comes to AC, you have AC vents in the frame, you have them up front, and all that connectivity. That's where all that is going to take place for the drive. You even have your own 10.25-inch screen in the back. My favorite part is that there's ventilated seats on the mid-row. That's going to make it so much nicer for your passengers sitting back here. Cup holders, storage place for atomic fireballs, maybe some nerds. You could get the whole Willy Wonka collection in here. That's going to be everlasting gobstoppers, Wonka bars, nerds, and everything else. Even that lickable wallpaper. Roll it up and put it in there. Seats are fantastic. I like the way they don't have a stupid captain's chair armrest, but you know what? The big thing they're bragging about in this Grand Wagoneer is the third row. Let's get back there and see how comfy you're going to be for our first drive. Right, guys, third row time, and I did something that I've never done in any other third row SUV setup. I actually have the mid-row seat all the way back. And that's the crazy thing, is your mid-row passenger could be all the way back, and my knees are not even close to the back of the seat. I love the way there's a nice curve and an arch here that helps make it extra comfortable. And you have an electric reclining buttons on the rear seat as well. The one thing that's missing that I'm going to zonk is there's no heated or ventilated, but you got USBs and those seat controls and nice soft armrests, plus some places for a couple goat burgers back here, one on each side. But why don't we go ahead? Of course, we got the sunroof. Can't forget that. Everybody gets some sunny D from the sun's rays. But why don't we go ahead? Let's get in that cargo area, because I'm ready to go first drive on throttle in this Grand Wagoneer. All right, guys, cargo time. We're going to keep this real quick. Open up, nice electric assist. You're going to be greeted to 44 cubic feet of space. If you want to see more in depth where we fold the seats down and all that good stuff, watch the link at the end of this review. But you got your switch gear, your 12 volt, that Macintosh subwoofer. But you know what? It's that time. You've been waiting for it. It's been a couple weeks, but we are ready to do it. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in this hurricane-powered Grand Wagoneer L. Guys, we are in this 2023 Grand Wagoneer L. I'm so glad that we got the Grand Wagoneer, because remember, when you go Grand Wagoneer, you're getting the high output engine. 510 horsepower, 500 pound-feet of torque, all made it to that 8-speed, that Torque Flight 8-speed, which is a great automatic transmission. Of course, starting off, we got to do some on throttle. Nobody's behind us. A little bit of straight road, and we're going to let it rip and roll. Let me go ahead and put in sport mode. On throttle, here we go. Wow, there we go. The Hurricane, rocking it like a hurricane. What's great is that even with the extra size, you actually are not feeling like this is such a big SUV. And remember, we're talking about a foot longer than your standard Grand Wagoneer, if you could call a Grand Wagoneer standard. Going down the road, it's even smoother than a regular Grand Wagoneer because of the extra wheelbase. That gives you a little bit more stable riding, feedback from the road. And when it comes to feedback to the steering wheel, they actually changed the steering ratio of the electric rack to make it a little bit quicker. Of course, visibility, that's another thing that everybody's always going to ask when it comes to an SUV this size. They do a great job making a large side mirror, but on the outside, it actually looks really nice. It doesn't look like a billboard just attached to the side of the vehicle. Seats are comfy. I got the massage settings going. I got easy reach to everything. It just, it really shows that Jeep did their homework with this vehicle. I gotta go on throttle. I mean, look what we got in front of us. A nice long stretch of road, nice and straight. Are you ready? I'm gonna rock you like a hurricane. Here we go. On throttle. Nice. Man, those shifts, very purposeful, very precise. Definitely gets up to speed very quick. And remember, with this 3-liter twin turbo straight six, you have more horsepower than the 6.4-liter Hemi, and you have a quicker accelerating Grand Wagoneer, even though we're longer. And I'm not done yet. And we have better fuel economy. Now I know, trust me, I know some people, including myself, you're gonna miss the rumble of that Hemi V8. But with the way the world is going, and electrification is the name of the game, nice for them to still have a good old-fashioned internal combustion engine, that straight six with the twin turbos. What's nice is I'm digging the sound, the overall sound. It doesn't sound like artificial and all this junk. Plus, like I said, I like the way the engine behaves with the Torque Flight 8-speed automatic transmission. They redid the suspension, of course, because of the extra wheelbase, the extra size, the extra weight, and it does handle like a smaller SUV. Looking out over the hood, you just have great visual reference points, and then everywhere you look and touch on the interior, it feels very, very high-end. And I think for me, not being a big chrome kind of guy, having the option, especially for 2023, going Series 3, which is the top trim with Obsidian, is a nice way to do it because it gives it that nice blacked out overall appearance. Inside with the thicker side glass, the acoustic windshield, the sound deadening, it's as quiet as can be. You could hear a pin drop in here. That's how quiet it is. And just very smooth, even with the 22-inch wheels. Once upon a time, if you had 20, 21, 22-inch wheels, you had a really rough ride. Not so much in this Grand Wagoneer L. And as you can see, being out here in Montana is just absolutely stunning. This is what this vehicle is about, taking that ultimate family road trip where everybody's gonna have plenty of room. Everybody's gonna have their own little piece of technology. What does that do? It keeps the family together. Because now you're not gonna be at each other's necks yelling and arguing. you each have something to do, which is really nice. And everybody's got connectivity, everybody's got comfortable seating, and you have that longer range with the enlarged fuel tank. Because that's another thing. Remember, like I pointed out earlier, not only is this thing longer, they enlarged the fuel tank to give you farther range. And that, to me, is very, very smart to take advantage of that extra space. But going down this road out here in this mountainous area, not only is it beautiful to look at, but it's a beautiful driving experience. And I think that's another thing you're really gonna enjoy with this vehicle. But once again, we can't have enough. I don't think there's ever a time you'll hear me say that's enough on the on-throttle acceleration. One thing I am noticing that I'm gonna give a little bit of a zonk to is there's a little bit of lag, even with the twin turbocharged setup. Watch, you'll see when I go on throttle. So give us some throttle. On throttle, oh, that one was better. Okay. That one, so what you gotta do is obviously you gotta brake boost it a little bit, step on the brake pedal, give it a little bit of throttle to build some of that boost, and then fire it, sort of like firing that pinball in a pinball machine. Then you're able to get up and going very, very quickly because you got that boost. If you do it from a dead stop, watch, I'll do it from a dead stop without stepping on the brake and applying some throttle, there's a little bit of delay. So here we go, we're gonna do it again. On throttle, see how there's a little bit delay? Now it kicks in. Let me show that one more time. So that was without adding some throttle while on the brake. Now this is adding some throttle while we are on the brake. Are you ready? On throttle, see how more instantaneous, and then we're going. So nice to know that, and obviously with that extra boost, you're gonna be able to get going. Standard, like I said, 420 horsepower, which isn't shabby, but hey, nobody's gonna complain about having almost 100 extra horsepower over the standard well, I should say Wagoneer, the standard Wagoneer's engine with that standard output. But going down this road, just very, very smooth. You throw it into a turn, this nice long right-hander, it just grips well. You always feel planted, supported, confident, and just ready to rock and roll. Fascinating is one thing I'm noticing as I'm driving through this majestic area is that when it comes to noise and vibration levels, much, much lower than the V8. So that's another thing to take into consideration is because of the straight six, because it's smaller displacement, you don't have as many cylinders, they're all in a nice line, you got the twin turbos, less noise and vibration in here, which gives you a better driving experience. All right, guys, I changed the camera angle a little bit just to give you a bird's eye view. Really, really nice, just being able to kind of personalize what you get out of your Grand Wagoneer experience. As you can see, right now I have all of the gauges displayed. Still shows my speed, but I got my transmission temp, oil temp, the lane keep assist, all those things nicely displayed. And the great news is, all by the press of a thumb, you're able to change whatever you need to. Now, because I'm in sport mode, and how do I know that? Because of course we have a checkered flag little design there. It actually lowers the Grand Wagoneer. So that quadra-lift system lowers, and that allows us for some improved aerodynamics. And that is obviously going to be beneficial as well with increasing the range. But very, very smooth operation. Maybe some people might want to have like big paddles behind the wheel, but I'm not really missing any of that, to be honest with you. And what you're getting is just such a nice, stable ride. With the longer wheelbase, it's nice and stable, planted as you're going down the road. You got that great towing capability, and then having all of the awesome cameras and the clear resolution, getting to everything. The Uconnect 5 system is probably one of the best in the class. And then nobody's gonna argue with the amount of screens that we have. 75 inches of screen display. But going down the road here, very smooth, very controllable. I think the only thing that I was thinking about that would probably just improve the overall driving experience of this vehicle is if it had rear wheel steering. I think rear wheel steering would be fantastic because it would just allow that back end to kind of turn a little quicker with the front end of the vehicle. But other than that, I mean, going through this little twisty section here, it feels good, especially with the way they changed up the steering rack. That makes a heck of a difference. I think really where I wanted rear wheel steer big time was when I was making a U-turn on a tighter area. But suspension wise, soaks up all the bumps very well. You got less vibration and noise in here. And you got all of the latest, greatest technology. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come to a stop. We need to do an on throttle since I moved the camera angle here. We gotta go on throttle. Nobody's behind us, so we're good to go. Love the digital rearview mirror. That really gives you a bird's eye. You ready? On throttle, here we go. Like the way there's a tack at the bottom of the screen. And I just love the color option with this obsidian trim that just adds the nice black accents on the exterior and on the interior as well. But look at how just controlled everything is. And that's the biggest takeaway, is that this feels like a lot smaller SUV when you're behind the wheel. You got the full size extra length when it comes to versatility, but then it feels small when you're driving it. And I think that's what you're really gonna enjoy, especially if you're not used to a vehicle this size. But this is definitely the ultimate when it comes in family road tripping. Yeehaw, here we go. And you know me, when I see that sign, that's better than Christmas morning right there. The twisty bits. This is where I love to live. Too bad we're not in some type of high performance corner carver, but with the 4x4 system, with the work that they've done with the Torque Flight 8-speed automatic, and like I said, the biggest thing is the steering. It just allows it to be a pleasurable experience. And that's what I really like. Head-up display giving me all the important information. And then I got the massage seat setting on. And I'm just getting a massage while I'm driving through Montana on a corner carving kind of road. But hopefully this review has kind of given you the whole driving experience. The first time driving this with the new Hurricane setup. If you want to see all the details, like I said, click the link at the end of this video for where we go really in depth and also point out all those Obsidian features. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to where it all started for this one and wrap it up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one crazy kind of on throttle day out here in Montana. I definitely want to thank the whole Jeep team inviting us to the media launch. Let me know what you think. Have they done enough to make this the better way to go over a Hemi V8, or are you gonna stick to your guns and go the tried and true route? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit the subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raity's Rides family. We got to give it up to the muscle power behind the lens. Lori working that camera like a champ. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.